In this video, we're going to dive in to one of the most powerful tools for personal transformation, a mindset shift that can totally change your life in 2024 and beyond. This video is for you if you're ready to break free from old patterns, unlock new potential, and step into a new, more empowered version of yourself. Let's explore how this very simple yet profound shift can bring you clarity, purpose, and success into every aspect of your life. And make sure you watch until the very end to get one more bonus tip that has been a huge help for me in my life, and it's one I learned about very recently. Our mindset plays a critical role in shaping all of our lives. It's the foundation upon which we build our hopes, our dreams, and our aspirations. Yet so many of us neglect to acknowledge its profound impact. We often blame external circumstances, like our upbringing, our education, or our financial situation, for the outcomes that we experience. But the truth is, our mindset is really the catalyst that turns those circumstances into reality. By recognizing the significant role that our mindset plays, we can unlock the power to transform our lives and create the future that we desire. The truth is that many of us struggle with mental barriers and blocks and limiting beliefs that hold us back from achieving our true potential and living fulfilling lives. We tell ourselves that we're not good enough, smart enough, or talented enough to pursue our dreams. We're haunted by self-doubt, by various fears, fear of failure, and anxiety about the unknown. The problem is that these mental obstacles can be crippling, even though they're just in our head, and they can cause us to feel stuck and helpless. We might even convince ourselves that we're just not cut out for success, or that we're destined to live an ordinary life. But what if I told you that these mental barriers are really just illusions? What if I showed you that they're merely a product of your own mind, a self-imposed prison, if you will, that's holding you back from realizing your true potential? You see, our minds are incredibly powerful, and the stories we tell ourselves can either empower or disempower us. So by recognizing these mental barriers and confronting them head on, we can break free from their grip and then start living the life we truly desire. So now let's talk about some specific ways that you can change your mindset and replace the old negative one with a new positive one. So here's an incredibly powerful way to think about your mindset. Whatever's happening to you in life, whether it's good or bad, think of it this way: everything is happening for me and not to me. Now, what exactly does this mean? It's easy to feel like life is just throwing obstacles at us, like we're victims of circumstance. But what if we flipped that perspective? What if instead of seeing ourselves as victims, we started to see every situation, every challenge, every difficulty as an opportunity for growth? So, a brief personal story. Earlier this year, I had a number of health issues come up, and luckily now I'm doing great, but it was just one thing after the next. And not only was it scary and stressful, but it was really expensive too. All the different testing and visits with doctors, all those costs really added up. And of course I had the thought, why is this happening to me? This isn't fair. I wish I weren't in this situation. But the reality is, when I look back on it now, I'm so grateful that those things happened, because I was able to catch some issues very early on and resolve them. Had they been untreated, they could have led to really difficult and expensive procedures down the road. So by looking at that situation, on one hand, I can say that I was the victim and I wish it hadn't happened, but I can also take a much more positive, constructive view of it and say, you know what, I'm so grateful that that happened for me, because it highlighted some issues that I was having medically, and it forced me to put my attention there and to get them resolved and find specialists. So that's the difference. The difference in our mindset and how we view reality can have such a profound effect on all of our lives. So when we adopt this mindset, we begin to see that the universe isn't conspiring against us. It's actually conspiring for us. Each obstacle is a lesson. Each setback is a redirection, and every difficult moment is a chance to build resilience. So imagine going through your life with this belief that everything that is happening to you is happening for you. It's happening to help you grow, to get where you're meant to be. So suddenly then, some of these struggles don't seem so overwhelming. They become part of the entire journey, stepping stones to a stronger and wiser future you. So the next time you're faced with a challenge, take a step back and ask yourself, how is this happening for me? You might be surprised at the answers that you first get. It's not always easy, but this shift in perspective can bring you a sense of peace and empowerment. So next up, we have a concept that's very simple yet very powerful when it comes to shifting our mindset. And the concept is believe in yourself. So here, I have a brief funny story. I went to a birthday party a couple of months back, and it was actually hosted at a bowling alley. Now, I'm not a big bowler. I had not been bowling in years, and I was sure that I was going to come in absolute last place. And even if that had happened, who cares, right? Like, it was just for fun. It was just a birthday party. There were maybe 15 of us there. Really not a big deal. No one was competitive. It wasn't a competition. But in my mind, I thought, oh wow, it's been years since I ever played. I'm going to do terrible. And the funny thing is, I actually did quite well. In fact, I did so well that I actually came in first place of all of us. Now, we weren't really keeping score, like no one really cared who won. But it's just funny how my mindset was setting myself up for defeat. So the important lesson here is to identify those limiting beliefs. And we need to start paying more attention to this inner self-talk. Then, once we've identified these negative beliefs, we have to challenge their validity. And then finally, ask ourselves, is there concrete evidence for why we think that about ourselves? What is supporting those beliefs? More often than not, these beliefs are based on unfounded fears or past experiences that just no longer apply to us. Then what we want to do is create new, empowering beliefs that foster a growth mindset. These beliefs boost our confidence and motivate us to achieve our goals. So to develop these empowering beliefs, we can just simply replace the negative ones with their positive version. So the final tip that I have is a very powerful one, and it's actually one that I just learned a couple months ago, actually, but it's very, very powerful. It's very helpful with helping us to challenge some of those limiting beliefs and negative mindsets that we might have. And the concept is one phrase, really, up until now. Up until now. So I was enrolled in a course talking about how to become a content creator and how to put yourself out there. And one of the organizers would often do sessions with the students. Anybody could, on Zoom, anyone could raise their hand and come on for a one-on-one brief coaching. And one of the things that became very apparent early on is how many limiting beliefs we all had in common. And what this organizer taught us to do is every time we say something that we're a certain way, tag on to the end of it up until now. And the whole concept is that just because we have some thoughts about ourselves and our limitations, that doesn't mean that we always have been or always need to be that way. So here, let me give a brief example. One thing that came up very often was this idea that, I'm not good at selling myself. I'm not good at putting myself out there. Now, if that's your mindset, that's very rigid. But if you say up until now I haven't been good about putting myself out there or making content. Or specific to content creation, this is another very common thing that came up. People would say, I started going on YouTube or working on my website or Instagram, but I just wasn't getting any traction, or I don't get traction on Instagram. Now, if you rephrase that and say, up until now, I haven't had success. Saying, I haven't been successful, I'm not successful. Now say, I have not been successful up until now. That's a total mindset shift. And instead of focusing on something that feels like it can't be changed, that little phrase opens up a window of opportunity, and it helps you see, well, okay, up until now it hasn't worked. What am I doing wrong? It's much more constructive. So in summary, this mindset that we have is really the key to creating positive change in our life. And by recognizing the critical role that it plays, and by confronting some of these mental barriers that we've created, and by adopting a growth mindset, we can unlock our full potential and start living the life we truly deserve. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you have experienced a mindset shift or faced challenges in your own journey, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you're ready to take personal growth to the next level, be sure to check out other videos on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.